All right, let's talk about Next.js. It's one of those technologies that is, no joke, quietly running a massive part of the internet you use every single day. If you're a developer, you definitely know the name. And if you're not, well, you've almost certainly used a website built with it, probably without even thinking about it.
But it all really starts with a simple question. You know that feeling, right? Why are some websites just instant? They snap right onto your screen, while others just chug along and make you wait. The secret is all in how they're built, and that's the very reason Next.js even exists. So to really get why Next.js is such a big deal, we have to rewind a bit and understand the problem it was designed to solve. And that story begins with React, which is the absolute go-to library for building user interfaces. It's incredibly powerful, but using it all by itself has some pretty big trade-offs.
See, a typical React app does all of its work inside your web browser. This is called client-side rendering. It basically sends your browser a nearly empty HTML file and a whole bunch of JavaScript. Then it's up to your device, your phone or your computer, to download all that code, figure it out, and then build the web page right there. And as you can imagine, that process can create some serious headaches.
For starters, that initial page load can feel incredibly slow because your browser is doing all the heavy lifting. Search engines like Google can also get confused. They might see an empty page before all the JavaScript runs, which is terrible for SEO. And hey, if someone has JavaScript turned off for some reason, the site is just broken. It doesn't work. These aren't just little annoyances. They directly affect whether people stick around on your site. So with all these challenges, it was pretty clear that developers needed a better way to build websites with React. And that is exactly where Next.js comes in. Now, it's not a replacement for React. Think of it as a powerful framework built on top of React, specifically designed to fix these problems right from the start.
So what is it, really? At its heart, Next.js is an open-source framework that basically gives React superpowers. The two magic phrases you need to know are server-side rendering and static site generation. The big idea is, instead of building the page in your browser, Next.js builds it on a powerful server before it's ever sent to you.
And look, don't just take my word for it. This is not some niche little tool. The official React documentation, we're talking the people who actually created React, they themselves recommend Next.js. That is a massive stamp of approval. It's basically the industry standard solution. Here's a really simple way to think about it. A traditional React app is like a meal kit service. It sends your browser all the raw ingredients and a recipe, and your poor browser has to do all the chopping and cooking itself. Next.js, on the other hand, is like a five-star restaurant. It does all the cooking in its powerful kitchen, the server, and delivers a fully prepared hot meal right to your table. You get to enjoy it instantly.
Okay, so how does it actually pull this off? Let's dive into the core features that make Next.js so powerful. Its superpowers, if you will. First up, and this is the big one, is server-side rendering, or SSR. When you click a link to a Next.js site, the server builds the complete ready-to-view HTML page and sends that to your browser. This means you see the content almost instantly. It feels incredibly fast, and it's a total game changer for search engine optimization. Now, for pages that don't change very often, like a blog post or an e-commerce product page, Next.js has an even faster trick up its sleeve: static site generation, or SSG. This pre-builds all the pages when the site is first deployed. So when you ask for a page, the server just has to grab a file that's already made and send it over. It is, without a doubt, the fastest way to serve a web page.
But Next.js is so much more than just a rendering machine. It's a complete, full-stack framework. It's the whole shebang. It gives developers a massive toolkit with things like advanced routing, the ability to run server code without a separate API, and built-in support for all the latest and greatest features. It just makes building complex websites so much smoother.
And you know, this toolkit is not standing still, not even close. Next.js has been around since 2016, and the team behind it has been innovating like crazy, constantly pushing the limits of what's possible on the web. I mean, just look at this timeline. They introduced serverless deployments, which makes scaling way easier. Then they rebuilt their core tooling using the programming language Rust, which made everything blazing fast. And more recently, they introduced a totally new routing system that changed the game again. This thing is always moving forward, and that's what keeps it on the cutting edge. So what's the result of all this innovation? What's the payoff? Well, it's huge. We're talking about massive worldwide adoption by companies that simply cannot afford to have a slow or clunky website. This framework isn't just for small side projects. It is trusted and used by some of the absolute biggest names on the planet. companies that serve millions and millions of people every single day.
Just look at this list. Apple, Netflix, Nike, TikTok, Uber, Walmart. I mean, come on. This is a who's who of global brands. For these companies, a faster website isn't just a nice to have. It means better search rankings, it means more people actually buy stuff, and ultimately, it means a healthier bottom line. It has truly become the standard for high-performance web applications.
And here's some real-world proof. Now, this quote sounds a bit technical, but cumulative layout shift is super important. You know that annoying thing when you're on a website and you try to click a button, but an ad loads and everything jumps around and you click the wrong thing? That's layout shift. By using Next.js, this site basically eliminated that problem, creating a way better, smoother experience for its users. And that's what it's all about.
So when you step back and look at the big picture, what Next.js really did was transform React from just a library for building interfaces into a truly powerful full-stack framework. It lets developers build incredibly sophisticated, high-performance web apps from start to finish, all with one set of tools.
And this brings us to a really interesting final thought. As the web keeps evolving and our expectations for speed and quality get higher and higher, frameworks like Next.js aren't really a choice anymore. They're essential. The ideas it champions, performance, amazing developer experience, and flexible rendering are literally paving the road for what's to come. So the only real question is, what will it inspire next?